Welcome, and let's continue with our new objective, which is gonna be to generate access and refresh tokens. So what they are and why do we need them? So for the access token, look at it as a key. So simply when you log in, we're gonna give you a certain key or a card, whatever you can call it. Understand it this way. That card or that key is used to know that you are logged in. So as long as that access token is there, I know actually this person is logged in. So I know that. The second thing it is used for is to identify the user itself. So let's say, for example, you want to do something in the server, you're going to send us a request. When you send the request, you send this key with you, which is called the access token. When you send it, if you didn't send it, we're going to say this is unauthorized. I don't know who you are. You're going to not be able to, do anything in the server. But if you send that key with you, we'll look at it and see, okay, this has a key. And then we can take that key and get the ID of that user from it. So that way I can identify who is sending me a request, and I know that you are not unauthorized. So that is the whole idea of access tokens. It is beautiful. The second thing is the refresh tokens. So when you have an access token, this key, you make it expire in a small amount of time. For example, it expires after 1 day. Okay, and then you will have this refresh tokens. This refresh token, all it does is refreshes the access token. It always gives you a new key when the other one expires. So we don't have to log you out, because if you don't have a valid access token, you're gonna get logged out. But the refresh token keeps you logged in and give you all the time new access tokens, new keys. Okay, the other key is not valid anymore. Take this key, and it's also for security reasons. Let's say, for example, you have an access token that is valid for a year. Imagine relying on the same key for a year. That key could be gotten by someone and can be used to actually do something malicious. So that's not secure. That's why we give you the access token, which is a key that is valid just for some times, but we'll keep updating it. We keep giving you always new keys. So it's hard to use the other one because it's going to be already expired. So it is for more security and keep your login on the same time. So you understand this idea. It is a beautiful way of actually doing your authentication, and is way more secure than just simply relying on an access token. So what are these tokens? Simply, we're going to generate them using JSON web tokens. You could say simply, you take certain informations and then you encode it into some sort of string. That string is protected by a secret. Okay, so for example, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have an object there that we're gonna store in this GWT, which is gonna be the user ID. That's it. I'm gonna take the user ID and encode it with a secret inside the JSON web token. And we also give it an expiration date. So for example, let's say it's gonna expire after 1 day or 2 days or a month or a year, whatever. That is the whole idea of GWT tokens, and I explained them very simple. So let me show you how we're gonna do this. So first of all, we're gonna open your terminal, new tab, and then yarn add JSON web token like this. Okay, sorry, yarn add JSON web token like this, and then enter. So now let's go back to my controller. So after registering the user, I can go actually right here, and let's define an access token. And this access token, we're going to use a wait because we need to wait for this operation till it finishes, and we'll create a function that is called generate token. This function simply is going to generate the token for us, and we need to send few informations for it. So the information, I'm going to send an object in it with a property called user ID because I want to store the user ID. Where I'm going to get that user ID is going to be from this new user. So I'm going to go there and then ._ID. I only need the ID. That is the first parameter. The second one is how long before it expires. So for the access token, we're just gonna give it, like for example, 1 day. And after 1 day, it expires. And then the last thing is the secret. What is the code for this to crypt this? So what we have to do, I'm gonna go to my env file, and I can go, for example, right here, and then I can go access, and then token, and then secrets. Okay, and we'll do the same, and this one is going to be for the refresh like this. And then I can generate some sort of strong password using this website. It's called passwordgenerator.net. You can generate some sort of strong password, copy it, and then we'll take it back I'm going to have it as my access one, and then also I'm going to generate one for my refresh token. Okay, so I'm just going to have them right here saved already. Okay, so now I can go back, and for this one is going to be process.env dot, and let me get the name, so I'll make sure it is right. And this way, this function, this is what we're going to pass to it. We're going to also, we still didn't create the function, but don't worry. Now it is time for the refresh token. So refresh token, and this one is going to be the same, just having the user ID, but it's going to expire after 30 days. Okay, which what most websites do. Some have for longer, like Facebook, but like for Udemy, for example, 30 days, and they're going to log you out. And this one going to use the refresh token secrets like this. So now we need to create this function. So this function, I'm going to create it in the services. So inside the services, I'm going to create a new file that is called token.service.js. And I'm going to go export const and then generate token function right here, which is going to be an asynchronous function like this. So what the function is going to get? Simply the payload, which is simply what we sent, which was the user ID. Then also the expires and, afterwards, how much before it expires, and also the secrets. Okay, and right here, we're not gonna create the function in the services itself. The function that is like that creates our GWT, which uses JSON Web Tokens. And the reason for that, I'm gonna have that in another file in the utils. And that's very, the best idea when you wanna scale your application. You want to have your utils alone, because the util is simply going to generate that. Okay, all it does is generate a new JSON Web Token. But in the services, you can do something before that. That's why I want to leave it this way, even if we didn't use it like to its full potential, but that's fine. But that is the right way, believe me, on how to do this, because you could do some calculations right here. You can manipulate a little bit the data, and then all it does, the tool that we're going to create later, is just simply sign the token. That's it. And I'm going to explain. So let's go right here, and we're going to create a token. So this token is just simply going to be using await again, and we're going to create a function that is called sign, and we will send the same data right here. Okay, and this function, all it does is return us the token. Now it's very simple form. Okay, and now we have to go and create this sign function. So this sign function, I'm just gonna go to my actual utils, and I'm gonna create a new file that is called token.util.js, and then export const sign, which is gonna be an asynchronous function, and it's also checks the same. Okay, I gotta get the data right here, all of this data that we're gonna pass to this function. Okay, so now I can actually do that. So I'm just gonna go import and then GWT from JSON Web Token. So you can understand that the functions that we use in the GWT are not asynchronous. That means you can net await for them to finish. And right here, we're using await. That means we are waiting for that to finish. So it's not going to work. And the reason for that is that the JSON Web Token function is not asynchronous. So we have to make it asynchronous. So that means we got to make it a function that it does it awaits, it does its job, then it returns for us. So the way to do that is by creating a promise. And then when everything is fine, you resolve. And if there's a problem, you reject. So that is the whole way of doing that. So how are we going to do that? So I'm going to go right here. So we're going to return new promise right here. And this promise has resolve and reject. Okay. And inside here, what we will do, return. And then we'll go and we will use the GWT right here. Sorry, I don't have to return right here, already returned on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the GWT right here. And I'm going to call the function sign, which takes the information and encode it. So right here, what it does, it takes the payload that we actually want to encode, and it also takes the secret we are using to encode all of this. And then inside this options, options, you could say, this options objects, we're going to pass the expires in. You can see it there, and it's actually going to be the expires in. And you can see it is working right here. So we're passing all the information needed for creating that. And then after that here, we will have, let's see, the error and the token. And simply, if we have an error right here, we actually just have to reject the error. And as we are working right here in the server, you can actually maybe console like that if you want to see if everything is all right, or maybe import logger from, and we can go to my configs and then logger.config.js, and then we can use the logger.error, and then we can actually just show the error right here. But else, that means everything is all right. I can just simply resolve the token, and it will return the token for us. This is simply what we are doing. So now let me actually go and import this sign function. Okay, we can from util.js, and then the same, I have to import this generate token from the services. Okay, so okay, this is for the token, that is right. So this is the informations that we are getting. So now I want to return the informations to the user. I will return, I can return a message that says register success, for example. And then I can, add another property, which is going to be the access token that we will return the user, because when we only send the access token for the user, the refresh token, we store it in an API route, okay, there when it's in the cookies. So that's why it is secure away from anyone to play with. And then right here, we're gonna return the user object, which has the underscore ID, which is simply new user dot underscore ID. Simply, this is the new user, so you don't get confused. We're gonna return a few other stuff. So we're gonna return also the name, and then also the email, and then we may actually just return the picture and also the status. Okay, status like this. And I feel like this is all we need to return. So now let me actually try this. First of all, here in the register, let me try with some sort of test 5, just system, and then let's send a request. So when we do that, you'll see that we get the message register success, and this is the token, the access token right here, and the rest of the information after registering the user. If you took this right here, let me take it, and if I went back to the GWT web token website, I go to debugger, and then if you went to the encoded and pasted it right here, you can see that we get the payload here, which has this user ID, which ends by 96, which is exactly the new user ID registered in the database. So you see the underscore ID right here, the user registered in the database is this one. So now you understand how it is used. So now we have that access token. Now we need something else, which is to register the refresh token in cookies in a certain route. So how are we gonna do that? Simply, we're just gonna go response.cookie right here, and we will define the name of it. So I can call this refresh token, maybe just token like this, refresh token, maybe this way better. Yeah, maybe here. And then simply what we will do is I'm going to pass the refresh token itself. Okay, not this one, this one. We just generate it. Okay, like that. And then also I'm going to pass the options. So HTTP only for more security. HTTP only, which is going to be true. Okay, and then we're going to define the path. So which route I want to have that. So I'm actually going to have it in the API, then version 1, then I'm going to go to auth, like our usual routing, and then I will have it in the refresh token. Okay, I'll just simply like that, and maybe I just change the name here, refresh token. Okay, this is the path that I'm going to have it there. And then the max age, so how long before this expires? So I'm going to have it for 30 days. So we have to go to 24 hours, then 60 minutes, then 60 seconds, then to turn it to milliseconds this way. Okay, and this is the max age. This is simply 30 days, I think. Yeah, 30 days, and that's it. So this is how to do it. So I can also go right here and maybe use console.table, and then I will console log the access token and then also the refresh token. And let me open the console. So everything seems fine. So let's do that. Let me register a new user. Let's see what we're gonna go. Let's say this is test 6, and then simply let's send. So after I send, everything is gonna be done. Okay, we have a new access token, everything. If I went to my console, I get this table, So this is the access token and this is the refresh token. Now I want to see where is the access token, the refresh token. So let me go right here to the auth and create a new request. Let's call this refresh token. And simply we're going to use a GET request to HTTP, and then it's going to be to / API, then version1, then auth, then refresh token, like this. And we will send. So when you send, look what's going to happen in the response. We get this row does not exist, but if you see the cookies right here, you will find the new cookie you actually just set. So you see right here, it is called refresh token, and this is the value. Okay, it ends with EE, so it's simply AA, whatever you call it. It is the same right here. Sometimes I can't pronounce, sometimes my tongue just doesn't help. And this is the path we stored it in, and this is the expires date. So which simply now, the time is now, as you can see, let me show you the date. This is 8 March, so after 30 days, because this month, as you can see right here, has 31 days. So after 30 days, it's going to be 7 April. And we added the HTTP only, and you can see it is here. So you see, that is beautiful. So now we had that refresh token, and we stored it somewhere secure that nobody knows about, only us. So whenever we want to get that, we want to see that refresh token, we can access it by this URL and manipulate things a little bit. So this is how it works. So this is beautiful. So yeah, and right here, okay, so that's it. That seems like I've done it all. So I don't think we're gonna need anything else. Let me remove this console. This is the data we're sending back to the user. And yeah, we're done right here. So maybe the next thing that we have to do is login. So see you in the next video.